Welcome to the show. Welcome to Star Geeks. This week we are talking Ahsoka, episode 3, and I am joined by my co-hosts and friends and brothers and everything else. I don't know how to lead this thing, so it's a little different for me because
I'm just waiting. I'm just letting
it's
you.
usually a little does
But
this thing, but I guess I'll just do myself first. So my name is Sean. Whatever. Go ahead and do whatever y'all want to do.
this is a little whatever.
This is Steve.
I'm Ed.
And there you go. And we're joined by two people. This is Kenneth and Ed, but I'll let them talk about themselves first real quick. I'm sorry.
Kenneth is having camera issues, so we just get that little dot.
That's Kenneth, keeping it honky.
Well, thank you, Kenneth, and thank you, Ed. Ed, you're a huge Star Wars fan. Before we start, reviewing Ahsoka, can you just really quick tell us, how your love for Star Wars started, actually?
Oh, well, I've been in it from the very beginning. I can remember at 5 years old going to see the original, and I have fond memories of seeing all of the movies being taken out of school. Went well with the action figures. I've got a bunch of them on the wall behind me, a collection that's, well, nothing compared to yours, but I don't think anyone can go that route. But yes, a couple Star Wars tattoos, I'm all in.
There you go. Kenneth, what about yourself? If you can hear me.
Yep. Let's see. Well, I was born in 81, so I didn't quite see the originals back in the, when they came out, but grew up in the 80s, just prime, perfect childhood. Just living Star Wars life as a kid. It was like definitely one of my favorite memories of my childhood is just thinking of all the Star Wars stuff at the time and just the world, reading the books. I read dozens of the extended universe books throughout the 90s.
Nice. So now, how do you feel now that all of it's on TV format and everything else?
Ups and downs. I do like the long format. It allows you to kind of live with the characters a little bit longer. I prefer kind of the more dramatic tone to it that you get from a show. The one thing I like to bring up to people in this current era of Star Wars is when you look back on it, following it chronologically, you've got the prequels, which was about the bad guys winning. The original trilogy is about the good guys winning. And then the sequel trilogy is about the bad guys had somehow won and the good guys have to beat them again. So between episodes 6 and 7, we never saw, as far as the movies are concerned, we never saw how the good guys fell apart, how the bad guys won again. And we're getting to see that in the show. So I think last week, I don't know if it was you or Sean or Steve said something about the Clone Wars really did a lot for the prequels. Mm-hmm. I think we'll kind of get that out of these shows as far as the sequel trilogy. I don't think they'll make the sequel trilogy good, but I think it will at least connect the dots for the broad strokes of what happened, because my problems with the sequel trilogy is the writing. But the broad strokes of what happened, the big keynotes of what happened in the sequel trilogy are good, but just the writing with the movies was pretty rough. And so hopefully they learn their lesson from this. And if they ever head into an episode 10, 11, 12, they won't do that a third time in a row or rely on a show to make the movie better,
Yeah. I think, to me, like, Filoni's taking over everything, and Favreau, kind of him working together as a team and duo. And we talked about this before. I think it's going down the right path. It's not always great, but like you're not going to get everything great anyway. So, it's good for fillers for Star Wars fans who aren't going to get the movies no time soon. So I think I think it's cool. I think it's dope to me. So, Steve, I know your love for Star Wars is there, but I wanted you to get on here and talk about it because you actually were the only person that actually didn't watch Rebels, but you already know about Rebels and everything else.
Yeah, well, I didn't watch the whole season, but I've watched the episodes that you've said I should watch. So,
right.
But I haven't did a deep dive into the animated stuff as much.
So real quick, because I'm asking you, episode 2, what'd you think of episode 2?
The only thing I didn't like was that, like, for me, it felt like I was like, "Oh, Sabine's dead," right? I mean, that's the Qui-Gon kill shot. I mean, straight through, right out of the spine. Like, I'm like, God damn. And then she's just like hanging out doing puzzles. I'm like, Liam Neeson got screwed, man. It's not fair.
Well, it was just a little off center.
People get fucking brazed by that thing and they're dead. It's ridiculous.
Yo, you are right, Steve.
She was impaled, bro.
I've definitely
impaled, bro.
Yeah, I definitely see some slice cuts and be like, did I do that? Like
I mean, you see how many people Republic like soldiers? I mean, just like and like scratches their shoulder, like sparks and death. I mean, she gets run through. I mean, whatever, if she dies right there, it's like fucking credits. So I don't know, I mean, the show must go on. But no, I like it. That's my one gripe.
That was painful. I mean, you put a lightsaber through a door in Phantom Menace and it melts. She hits it, and 15 minutes later, she's like, "Oh, I'm good. Let's go." Like,
I have to do this.
Darth Maul got cut in half and survived.
Listen. That's the dark
Just
side, bro.
saying,
you mess with the devil, you get the horns.
I mean, let's keep it 100. Like, he was a Sith. Like, she ain't really shit at this point in the game. So, I don't know.
Well, you do know that the lightsaber does cauterize the wound right away. So, I mean, Qui-Gon was just old. He just gave up. He gave up on life.
Yeah, he gave up. Midichlorians kind of gave up on him. So
the episode 2 was cool. It we only talked about one, on the Geek Show. So episode 2 was good. Like, I like the whole scene where she's doing that. That was the scene that we made all those jokes about with the construction guys in the background. Like, hey, come here, look at this. Like, there's a big battle in the middle of this loading dock.
Right. So, I mean, look, real quick, Ed and Kenneth, like, you guys already watched episode 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. From our ratings that we do on the show, what would you guys think of episode 1 and 2?
So I definitely go a hero. I've enjoyed it. Of course, as we go through this, they'll see that we're going to nitpick it, but that's the joy of being a fan. It's not that I don't like it. There's little things, but it's definitely a hero. Although I'm going to reserve judgment because it is a series. We want to get through all of them, and then we'll look to see what the total package looks like. But I'm enjoying them so far. Yeah.
Kenneth?
I'd say episode 1 was combined. I'd say a hero for the both of them, but episode 1 was a little low, kind of a high sidekick to me because I legit got tired watching it. So I don't know if it was the show or what, but
was it because were you getting exhausted because you had already kind of seen, like, you already watched Rebels already, so you already know what's kind of going on. So
exactly. I knew I watched all of Clone Wars and all of Rebels, so I'm fully caught up on all that. And so it was a fair amount of recap, which is probably pretty important for the new people coming on board that hadn't watched all those shows. But still great seeing all the cast, live action. Hopefully we'll see Zeb. Obviously he'll be a little pricey because he's a animated character, but it
doesn't have to be, right? It could be a guy in a suit with a CGI face.
True. They could like have him in a pilot seat, or they could kind of tweak it a little bit, have different shots of him.
All right. So, where we go. We're going to run through the show. I try to play screen by screen usually. It's hard to, kind of do it all like that, but like, shot for shot if I can at best, but we'll go through it and, pick it apart as much as possible. This is not what we usually do on our show, so it's a little different thing. So, Steve, I know you're not used to this one, so I'm just kind of playing it as I go, but we'll run it through. Although you know how it works. And, Ed, guys, you watched it already. So, and here we go. This is not all right. So
this was a short one, only 30 minutes, but still was good.
Yeah, it was still good though. Well, we got through hyperspace, yada yada yada, going through that, and then we got to this scene where she's actually training.
I thought this was really cool. I like the instructions he was given. I like this little scorecard at the end when he holds it up and sees where she hit and missed. Like, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
This for me, because what I do for a living, like this is an attraction. Like this is something we should be doing. Like we should be able to go to and do this.
I thought about that too, Alo. I know you were saying. I was like, yo, that is really fucking cool. I have never I don't remember ever seeing this and how they trained like that. and she's training with a wooden stick. And like that I've never seen before, because if you go back to episode 1 or 2, or maybe episode 2 or 3, those little kids was they was training with lightsabers. If you remember
Yeah,
that.
little
were
Yoda
real,
sabers. Yeah.
but they were also, as they say here, they felt the Force. She feels nothing. Like, she's, as you
Seems
said,
like
the worst.
Rosario.
Worst yeah.
Rosario feels nothing. She's giving no emotion throughout the whole. Look, that's what she does. That whole season so far, right there. It's either that or her hands are behind her back in that same thing.
She is definitely not like Clone Wars Ahsoka.
She
Well,
seems
it's
like
not
she
Snips.
is. She seems like she is fucking over it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she's just more mature as a character, right? We are
Very stoic.
so far from that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and the scene coming up, and I don't want to skip ahead to it, but like, she becomes really badass, right? Like, she has like a badass moment, and it fits with the stoic nature of her character, where they're flying through space. But again, I like this scene too, Shauna, and I agree. It's interesting that they went with kind of like that samurai training with the sticks, like you see in those old martial arts movies, where they're using the bamboo sticks and stuff like that. It was like such a martial arts training thing here going on.
Yeah, it
Worst candidate to be
phenomenal. And then the fact that she put on what is it, the training mask, which very like a la fucking Luke Skywalker, which was really great.
Too much like Luke Skywalker. That was one of my things, is that she says, I can't see, how am I supposed to fight? I mean, it's word for word from A New Hope.
It is.
I mean, I love how they have the callback, so it looks and feels like Star Wars as we know it. But even if they'd have just changed the wording around to something like, I can't fight because I can't see. I mean, it's the same words, but it's not the same exact dialogue.
Yeah.
Amir, I mean, he's asked me a question about the acting. I think the stiffness, I'm gonna bank on it being the maturity of the character from there to now.
I agree. Hello, I agree.
It's a long jump. She's gone on. I mean, it's a 5-year time jump, and she's.
Oh, it's at least 15 years since Rebels, because it's through the entire original trilogy,
right.
and then a few years after that.
Yeah. So she has matured.
Well, this is around the time of the Mandalorian, right? I mean, she's met Grogu and all that shit already. So
yeah. And she was like that in the Mandalorian. So.
I also like the samurai feel, because, I mean, if you know a lot behind Star Wars, that Lucas really built everything about the Jedi from the Kurosawa movies and samurai. So this really ties it together. Again, the only thing that kind of threw me off was some of the language they're using. It almost sounds like actual Japanese, so it's a little too real world. Like,
yeah. I agree with you, Ed, on that. The movies like really kind of played a lot into like a lot of this, and like again, like you just watching this, it was really cool.
Even the music here reminds you of like
Steve. You
Japanese
hit that right
samurai style.
Yo, the score on this, Steve, and actually, I didn't get a chance to actually talk to you about that. How do you feel about the score in this? Because I know you love music and like
love it. I love it. I especially love the theme at the end that plays through the end credits, because we don't really get like a big opening, but like even the Mandalorian has that great theme at the end. But this Ahsoka theme at the end is fantastic. It's like really good.
I think that's the highlight from this entire show. Kevin Kiner kills it with the score.
Yeah. Really cool.
Sabine sucks.
She's terrible. She's terrible.
It kind of reminded me of the Matrix too, with Neo and Morpheus's first fight scene.
Really?
Kind of get vibes from that.
I mean, that was, she had a real stoic look on her too. But let's jump. Time to fly. I mean,
I love all these big shots of the fleet and all that.
Yeah,
really good.
Yes.
Well, the fact that, in Return of the Jedi, that you saw some of those big fleet battles, and that was 40 years ago, and that's a big budget movie at the time, and now we get this on the small screen.
I know.
It's like we're so spoiled.
What's that? Is that a calamari ship? There's a rebel blockade runner on there.
I think there's one of the Nebulon frigates in there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, they did
and the A-Wings.
Oh, the Hay-Wings were great.
Oh.
Yeah, the hammerhead down at the bottom. Yep.
Yeah.
Always love those guys.
Yeah. I mean, now we get this.
I love this scene. I love how she puts that senator in his place. He starts talking shit, and she's like, "Man, have you ever been in a fight?" Oh,
Yeah.
careful. You maybe want to be careful with the sound there.
Yeah.
No. We played it last weekend. It kind of flow, and then it stopped. You know, what I mean, like I kept kind of messing around with it a little bit. But yeah, you're right. I should probably check out.
But I really like this whole scene. It's a lot of character development for Hera, I think, and also it's cool seeing Mon Mothra in there.
Yeah,
Not Mon Mothra.
Yeah, Mon Mothra.
Yeah, and it's the same scene from Return of the Jedi. It's the same that same deck area.
Yep.
So that was cool as shit. I was like, oh, okay, I like that.
Now, I like how Mon Mothma you can tell she's reading the room and realizing that either these guys next to her are idiots or there's corruption still happening. So it's like figuring this is 15-ish years since the Andor show, maybe even more than that. You know, it's like she's still dealing with the same old shit.
Yeah,
just a different day.
Well, that senator next to her, he's been in the shows before.
Yeah. Well, I forgot. I also forgot that Hera actually saved Mon Mothra from Thrawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So right. I forgot that they had kind of a connection a little bit. So I was like, oh man, I forgot about that shit. So yeah,
I think the portrayal of Hera in this is, in my opinion, finally good, because I think in episodes 1 and 2 she was very flat and wasn't the Hera that we saw from Rebels. So you can see in this she's getting frustrated. She's got some emotion. So I'm finally getting on board with the portrayal of Hera from this point.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought she even looked a little off in episodes 1 and 2, and it seems like they're getting it better here.
Well, this is what I wanted to really
get Jason.
Yeah.
Green so who's this?
Chopper.
That's his Kanan's son.
Oh, okay.
I want to be.
Yeah, so he's going to be a Jedi. I mean, come on. I want to be a Jedi. We know.
But we know the future. We saw the fire in front of Luke. I don't know if he really wants to be a Jedi.
Well, but does he go with Luke or does he go with Ahsoka? You know, we don't know. You know, because this whole time, you look at this and the question has to stay, right?
Well, remember he's not around in episode 7.
Well, that's true. But while Luke was doing his thing against Vader, where was Ahsoka? Where was any other of?
True.
You know, she's working here with Hera, but what?
All these people that we love here are going to be in this other galaxy during episode 7, 8, and 9, and then they can just bring back.
They actually aren't, because you remember in 9 we actually seen the ghost. Remember, the ghost was in that battle at the end.
Right.
So
true.
So that all this.
Wait, was it in 9 or was it in Rogue One? It was in Rogue for sure.
That was in 9. Remember when all at the end the Emperor, all his ships
Lando
came up.
all them, yeah.
Remember the ghost was there in that battle. So
maybe she's not flying the ghost. Maybe he is.
Again, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We don't really know. But I mean, I'm assuming all this is connected. I just assume everything is from.
Well, I agree it's connected, but there's this big gap of you had Jedi Luke Skywalker, where he's the only Jedi running around. Yeah, Ahsoka's here. What was she doing during that time?
I think they're trying to merge the stories. I trust Filoni to merge the stories right to make it.
You want to connect this to the sequels? That kid becomes one of the Knights of Ren.
I don't know. I think we're. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the Knights of Ren because
but the Knights of Ren got handled so easily at the end.
Well,
yeah, I don't see them being somebody
got betrayed by their best friend. Ridiculous.
Yeah, and plus Jason, I think he's pretty big in this storyline. So I'm assuming that this is a thing. You know, this is going to play off some kind of way eventually. You know, I don't think he's going to die. I don't think they're going to kill a kid not right away. So. But it's nice to see him. And the crazy part is he had a little pauldron on like his father. I don't know if you can even see it because it won't stop there. But he had a little pauldron on. And that was pretty dope. So whatever. That was cool. This was weirdly hilarious that she tried to move it, and then they just kind of deadpanned it back to the cup, which was really weird.
She's like, you win this round. The cup's just sitting there. It was like a little character. Like the cup was like, yeah.
Now, if only the cup moved backwards, just like,
Ahsoka.
I'm still trying to understand why she's even selected as a Padawan or to learn. It even says she's got no talent. I mean, I know Ahsoka tries to play it off like, well, you don't necessarily need the talent. It's hard work. Well, again, if that's the case, I'm going to work hard to be a Jedi. We all can. It kind of takes the special out of it.
Yeah, I wish she just would have been a Mandalorian. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of wish she would have just kind of embraced that Mandalorian.
Well, and that still might be the end of it, right? She's just going through training. Ahsoka is trying to get it out of her. It's kind of like, I look at it like, mutants and stuff like that. Like, people who have a mutant gene that's not unlocked or whatever. It's just like it happens. Yes, I agree. It's not great. I want her to be a Mandalorian. I want her to wear the helmet and she could fight that way. Because I think she fights better that way. And we see that in this scene here where they get attacked and Ahsoka then is trying to tell her to, basically use the Force, without saying, use the Force, Luke, like Obi-Wan did in New Hope. And then she changes it and says, what do you need from me to help you? Changes it up. So I think it's going to be different. I think it's setting up the, where it's like, oh, can she be a Jedi? Can she be a Jedi? And then it's going to be, no, she can't, but she's going to be herself. Mm-hmm. I think that's what it's going to end up being.
Right.
So I think she's going to go get her midichlorian count checked?
I think we're done with the midichlorian. I really like the dogfight scene. I mean, it's like a 15-minute long.
It's the whole episode.
Yeah, but what good are these little ships? They can't do anything. They're just nailing the fucking ship over and over. This chick sucks. She can't hit
shields.
Shit.
It's got shields. Like, they're counting down. It's baiting down the shields. They're only at 10%.
But then she goes into a fucking thing and she's like, puts two wires together and she's like, "We're back." Like, what are you talking about? Like, I get it. It's fun. It's Star Wars fun and it's fun, but like,
the lightsaber can deflect them.
Like what? Why are they shooting the wings too? Like aim for the engines or something. Like,
well, they still got shields up, so I would assume that they're trying to penetrate something at this point, But
also like Sabine and Ahsoka here, they never seem like there's any urgency at all. Like they're just like, I'll get him next time. Like, what the
right? Well, I mean, this was a dogfight, though.
It's a gripe. It's just a gripe. It's something I find. But it's like that with all Star Wars dogfights.
Yeah. I mean, they had to lay out some kind of suspense, but like I thought this was all great though. Like it was like old fighter pilots, like planes and shit. I thought that was phenomenal. I thought that was great.
It looks amazing, and there's a few shots that again you can almost go frame by frame, and it matches the escape from the Death Star in A New Hope. As far as instead of TIE fighters, there are these other ships. And again, Lucas was big on when they were making the first one. He had a lot of World War II footage because he didn't have the special effects done. So this almost ties back into that because they look like World War II fighters. I mean,
that was a nice.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah. No, its production value is fucking phenomenal in this thing. So I got to give them credit for that. Jumping that. So
that last scene bothers me when it's like, oh, they fell off the scopes. Look out the window; it's right there.
I also like these.
It was hidden in the red trees with the red paint.
I love the incredible names for the huge guns they have. Fire up the turbo lasers.
Well, that's what they called though. They are called turbo lasers though.
And I love Ahsoka's her little suit. I like how her helmet. It's very.
I love this scene.
That's going to be
this fucking scene was great.
Yeah, that's going to be an action figure for sure.
Be a hot toy.
Oh, totally, Steve. That's an action figure, a hot toy, a statue, and everything else.
They're going to sell those helmets. You're going to be able to wear it.
Of course, yeah. There's a dead ship in the water. Let's shoot the one person who can deflect them instead of the actual ship.
Well, it's because she's a Jedi. Come on.
But it's still fun.
No, I thought this scene was great. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Here, we're gonna go for another round. Aim for her lightsabers.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's what happens.
And there's the
Oh.
equivalent of the Star Trek red shirts. It's
Yeah,
disposable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody's.
this was funny though. Like, can you get me?
She couldn't force float like
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 Leia.
Leia.
Oh, that was a piece of shit. But it was cool. Like I dug this scene. I thought it was a fun scene, and I thought it worked. I was like, oh well, this works. If they can't shoot, they're like stormtroopers.
Yeah, terrible.
Like, terrible.
Like
I've never
all
seen-
around her, just not like. Look at that shot. Where are they shooting at?
And that whole scene, Ahsoka was a lot of fun. She wasn't as brooding as we've seen, well, up until this point. So,
Well, you know what's weird, and I think Lil said it earlier. It's like maybe her stiffness is she's starting to loosen up a little bit more. Because also remember, she tried to train Sabine before, and it didn't work. So, you got to realize something. Ahsoka walked away from Anakin, like she did, and that was it. So I think like she's probably very reserved in a lot of shit that she does, and very kind of stoic in many ways as a character since we've seen her last. So I think with Sabine, she's starting to come more out of her shell, and it'll probably play in as we keep going forward. She is right now. I say at this point, I would say Ahsoka is like a master Jedi at this point. So she has to be that kind of like Jedi that is like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and even Anakin at a point. You got to kind of be that kind of brooding, not brooding, but you got to be that mature Jedi, not like you used to be as a kid.
so you guys talked
Back
about
to
it in the
being a
last
Jedi?
one.
Say it again.
Go ahead, Ed.
I was going to talk about another point, so go ahead. And
Oh, I was just gonna say, is she gonna become a Jedi again, or is she gonna kind of stay in this, neutral spot, or like do the whole Bendu thing, or what?
I don't know, man. Like I'm very curious to see how it plays out. Like I
Well,
really don't know.
Luke's the only true Jedi in existence right now that we
Yeah.
know of. So,
Well, that's the other thing too. Like we just saw her with Luke. Like why don't you call him up?
Can I have my degree?
I need some backup. I need
Yeah,
some
hey,
backup.
there's
here.
some cats over here with some red sabers. Maybe we should get Luke involved in this.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Sabine, who does not know how to fight with a lightsaber, instead of calling up Luke.
I'm assuming at this point Cal Kestis is still alive too, right?
I haven't played
would-
the second
maybe?
game, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still kind of. So this takes place when exactly?
Several years after Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
So Cal Kestis would be like probably in his 40s, pushing 50 maybe.
I
But-
would say he's his
Okay.
age now.
Okay, so Darth Vader's.
So, Steve, I want to bring up one quick point: is that Merrick? That's the name of Starkiller,
yes.
Spelled differently, yeah, but
right? Spelled differently, but still, Steve, could you imagine?
And,
He's a good guy.
And the actor who's playing him,
Yeah, but
who played him
he
in the
was-
games is playing the character Merrick.
apparently he's playing the voice. So,
I hope it's not Starkiller, only because that storyline of the first Force Unleashed game would be an incredible season 1 of Vader, where the Emperor and Vader create the rebellion to root out their enemies, but then and unfortunately they shoot themselves in the foot in the process, and then he dies at the end. Starkiller. So
Is the Force Unleashed like I don't know the best Star Wars video game?
first of all,
story wise, yes.
Force,
in my opinion.
yeah,
so
Force
good.
Unleashed it's not even canon though. So,
Yeah,
I know,
well, yeah,
but like
it's not
you
canon.
force pull in a Star Destroyer at one point, like it's pretty friggin' tight. That's pretty good.
yeah. And mind you, we haven't seen anybody pulling a Star Destroyer ever. So, yeah, good luck with that. But moving forward with this, we're getting to another dog fight. Still, Steve, no hits. Like she's
Terrible.
into it, but she is not making any
They do
kills.
not have like any aiming software or anything.
It's like a real old fighter, like a real old fighter. Somebody got a question? Hello.
Yes, Alyssa Henry is asking if you were ever going to make the Harley Quinn poster.
Oh well, yeah, that'll happen. But that'll happen. Oops.
Called out.
We get what are these things? Pygles?
Purgles.
Purgles?
Turtles.
I mean, they're nice
Whales.
things. So my interesting here is that like this planet actually hosts the Purgles, and what they're looking for, and what I've heard so far is that the thing that the oh my god, what the hell is her goddamn name? The witch.
Mother Talson.
Morgan.
Morgan, that
the current
she's
one.
going to try to run with the Porgles to use that jump speed thing that she has that she's creating. So apparently this whole planet is for a reason. So there's a whole thing to this at some point.
Well, they said that they go into like kind of like
Hyperspace.
this circular hyperspace thing where they go through this loop, and this might be one of the planets that they kind of, I don't want to say they live on it, but they cross.
Yeah. I mean, I thought this scene was really great. Like they did a amazing job with these. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say the special effects look awesome.
yeah, they did a hell of a job with this, and just this whole dogfight alone was really, really good. It was actually
The quality of this show is like it's like up there with Andor. It's not so much Book of Boba Fett. It's more, you know.
And Andor didn't even have that much. Like, they didn't have like
Andor felt real though, and this
Yeah.
feels real.
Yeah, no, I agree. See, that's actually a good point. It really is good. Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, we're kind of getting close to the end, but you know, they take a hit and they they just land on red trees and seem to merge in. And
Yeah, there's not even using any like cloaking thing or anything. They're just like, oh, thank God the tree colors are the same as our ship.
Yeah. it was like, man, you could at least have like a
What
cloak.
luck.
Yeah. And then I mean,
Well, they powered down, you know.
I mean, it was smart to power it down, but
they don't have like any scanning. Like, oh look, there's one metal
Biological.
thing in this whole forest. Like,
yeah, and nobody
Like
can find you.
The X-wing was able to detect all the life forms, so I guess
You
they
would
don't have
think.
X-wing tech on these things.
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
but
they
we've
look
already
like
seen
shit,
these
so.
ships are garbage compared to X-Wing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These ships are garbage.
They have manual everything. You know what I mean? They only got the AM FM radio in there still. Tape decks. They got no GPS.
Would it help
Don't
if
got
I got
shit.
out and pushed?
Yeah, those things were really.
They've been needing an oil change. You know.
So yeah, I mean, they escaped, and you know, they got the plans, which I actually thought was a really cool scene when they were trying to get close, and Hyung was trying to get like the detection of this hyperspace thing, and they just kept getting closer and closer, and he's like, you gotta wait. So I thought that was a really cool scene and how he did that. But I mean, now they got the plans of what is coming. I guess they're gonna try to figure out how to. I don't even know what the hell. What is the point of this? Like,
They've already put in 6
We
hyperdrives.
got booted off YouTube.
already? God dang!
You're playing it too long. I told you not to play it.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't think it was that serious. But
You weren't playing full scenes last week. You were just getting to a point.
Yeah. Oh well.
But they got
I'll have to
like
put a record into it.
the 6 hyperdrives are like,
Not on Twitch though.
but they're like, but we have number 7 and it's almost in. I'm like, well, good thing, like you found it now.
Now, is that going to create a portal in the middle, or is that whole thing going to
Is it like a Stargate?
jump like a small fleet together with the ring?
Well, because these rings are going to help with the. It's to travel to another galaxy, right?
Yeah,
It's kind of like it needs because it you know when they travel through hyperspace, you know that, and they say it. I think Han Solo says it in one. I think it was in Empire or something when they're flying. Like if they get out of hyperspace at a certain point, they can be like in the middle of a star or an asteroid field, or they can just show up right in the middle of something. So this is actually going to help them detect through to another galaxy because they're going to be going even faster, and they have to cut through to another whole galaxy. So that's why they need all these engines and this device to get them there. So
they have the hyperspace ring that they used for the Jedi starfighters because they didn't have hyperspace.
Ones, yeah.
The smaller ones.
Obi-Wan, use those too. Yeah.
So with this size, is this for a larger ship? Are they intending to bring the ship that Ezra and Thrawn went out with? And why? I mean, That's the only thing is I'm wondering. It seems huge.
I think it's just because they have to go further
to another
you know,
galaxy
it's just to another galaxy. They need something that much bigger.
to make that push.
Yeah.
Does something connect to the ring, or is it just the ring itself that goes?
Oh man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, is it like a Stargate? Like,
Well,
it fills
yeah,
in and like you go through
Yeah.
the thing, or does the whole ring like like take
I think
off?
I would assume the whole ring takes off because they put the engines in the ring, right? Like those things are built in. It's not like it's building something that's pointing in, like you said, like where it would suck up time and space, so you can just kind of cut through, kind of like the portals in in Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Like it's not like that where you're just kind of portal jumping.
And
that's what I'm assuming. I have no idea.
And I would assume the Purgles, they have something to do with this. Like I would assume that they probably cause so much whatever, and then they can just push right through it. I'm very curious to see what this is going to play out to be, because like I really have no idea at this point, and it's very interesting.
I think the Purgles are, because I remember in something they talked about hyperspace, that there's hyperspace lanes, which is like the Kessel Run and a few other ones. So they're known lanes that you can travel in. The Purgle can travel hyperspace by themselves. So you're almost following their lane. Like, okay, they already know the path from here to here, but we have to follow them because, well, as Lil started saying, traveling through hyperspace ain't like dusting crops, boy.
So, I mean, I don't know. I'm very happy to see like what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. But I mean, overall, I thought the episode was definitely a hero. I thought it was a great episode. I enjoyed it a lot. I've watched it twice already, so I'm probably gonna watch it again just to keep watching, just to kind of see things that you don't see before. But overall, it's a great episode. Yeah.
I don't know if I give it a hero.
Really?
I like some scenes. I just I don't know. Again, this is why I hate television. Like,
because it's not a complete story. It's just like it's just like a
and
section.
I agree with Ed, where he's like, I'm gonna rate it at the end, because it's like it's not even a beginning, middle, end. It's not even a middle. It's just like a chapter, and it's an unfinished chapter, a chapter that just starts out of nowhere and then ends out of nowhere. Like it ends, with Ray Stevenson, saying, "Go hunt the Jedi." That's it.
That's why I didn't play it.
He didn't even show up. Like he showed up at the very end. I'm like, man, I wanted more of him too.
Well, I'm going to give it a sidekick because we still haven't freaking seen Thrawn or Ezra. Like, you think they would have started showing scenes from their perspective by now? Maybe, I don't know. We'll probably have better context in hindsight, but
this show's not called Thrawn. This show's not called Ezra. It's called Ahsoka, so it's got to be from her point of view.
Yeah,
it's Rebels season 5.
Steve, what you think?
I liked it. I mean, it's like rating is hard, and I liked it enough. I guess maybe a high sidekick. I really liked all the ship stuff. I thought just special effects wise and music wise and sound design and everything was just gorgeous. A lot of fun to look at. But I don't know where the fuck it's going. Like, just like let's wiggle. Let's do like get in a fight then. Like, how big is this red forest? Like, that's the thing about Star Wars too. It's always like this planet, and like planets are fucking huge, but like they always like go into planets and they're always like in the same like 2-mile radius. It's like every planet is like super, super tiny in Star Wars. It was like I had that problem with Mandalorian when what's his name? Apollo Creed was like, we have the planet back. I'm like, you have this one neighborhood back. Like, this is a big ass planet. Like, you and your 5 guys have taken control of this borough, and that's it. But I like the setting. I think it's going to be cool. I hope that we, especially with how samurai-esque everything is looking, I could see some really cool fights happening in this red forest. So I'm looking forward to that visually.
Steve, let me ask you a question. At the end credits, do you get that Game of Thrones feeling?
100%. I was going to say that. Like, it's like
it's so Game of Thrones.
Yes. It is, and with the little, and you're just following the trajectory of these little pins on the map. Like, awesome.
And we go to every planet too. I think I've seen like a meme that actually had every planet They had Dathomir on there. They had Yavin, like another.
It's 100% Game of
Yeah.
Thrones style stuff, like
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
they're
it
just
is.
going over every landmark in the show. So
Yeah. I want
It's very good.
I want to see Dathomir live action. Like I want to
Yeah.
see, like I would love to see that, how that plays out. So, yeah. I mean, that's really kind of it. I mean, is there anybody said anything else to say? I mean, overall, hey, I mean, we went through it. We got kicked off of YouTube. Sorry, Will. My bad.
No, we're back on. So
Oh, all right. Didn't mean it, but overall, I mean, look, from week to week, you know, you're welcome to join in and talk about this show. I think it's a great show. Any end remarks? I guess. Anybody else got anything to say before we get out of here?
I want an
well,
Ahsoka
I
hat.
did have a question for the group.
Oh.
Do you guys think that Merrick will be any character already established? Because rumors are floating everywhere that we talked. He kind of said he doesn't want him to be Starkiller. Do we think Merrick will end up being Ezra?
Ezra's with Thrawn.
Yeah.
To another galaxy.
I hope not.
There's that one character they've talked about from Rebels or Clone Wars, another female that she was trained by. She knew Ahsoka from back in the day, and she became an Inquisitor. Right? What was her name?
Was she a Jedi?
Merrick Theory. Yeah.
No.
She it was in Clone Wars. She like set Ahsoka up for bombing something.
Right.
What was her name?
I forgot what her name. She have a green face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot what her name was though. I don't know if she died or what. I'm not even sure she even survived. Yeah, I'm not sure I forgot what her name was, but I know who you're talking about. I think she had set her up in the Clone Wars. Like she was on trial. Ahsoka was on trial.
Is that Barisofi?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that'd be dope. I would love that. I think that'd be cool. The reveal of that. I'm hoping that there's a reveal of that character because that I think is one of the things that everybody's kind of talking about. Like, who the hell is this person in this mask that is so, Sith Inquisitor style kind of character? So,
Are you going to get the mask helmet, Sean?
no,
From me?
Liar.
I don't need that.
You will.
I probably will though. It seems kind of cool. It's very Knight like style. Like I really like that. It's kind of cool.
I put a link to a picture of the one chick in the chat.
See, I'm kind of torn because I love the game of wondering who Merrick could be, but I love the mystery and that it would continue. I don't necessarily need everything revealed all the time.
And it doesn't always need to be like, it was Palpatine. Like,
don't do that to me.
Somehow Palpatine has returned.
Don't, man. If they do that shit, man.
Takes the mask off and it's Dooku, and you're like, what the fuck? No.
What if it's Snoke?
Come on, man. Don't do that to me. Jeez, man. You know, really.
That's how Filoni's gonna bring back. It was Snoke. He was trained.
I do at some point in this show, I would love to see everybody back on the Ghost. Like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna get Kanan, but like, listen, I would love to see, all of them together, at least live action one time. Like, just see all of them together, man, would be tough. And per Freddie Prinze Jr., he ain't coming back, so so we won't get a Kanan Ghost, but that would be cool too. But at the end of the day, just to see them all together would be really, really cool to have a live action. So,
I mean, you're close. It's closer than it's ever been. I mean, you got Hera and Sabine in there, Chopper. Everything's live action. The ship's live action. It's really cool to see.
yeah.
And that planet Lothal, like that was never in any movies or shows except for animation.
Yeah.
And then you get that whole live action scene, and you guys talked about it, the Akira with the awesome heavy metal music. So,
Are they going to jump through and then stay there with the rest of the season and then end it with them over there? Or are they going to actually make it back to quote unquote our galaxy?
I don't know. We're getting season 2 or something. I don't know if it's going to be Ahsoka or it's going to be Rebel season whatever. But yeah,
or
we're
it's
getting
going to
something.
lead into the big movie finale that Filoni's working on, right? Like,
Yeah.
Shit.
I think it all can connect. It can lead into Mandalorian season 4 and have some type of connection.
Do you think we're going to see Mando?
I don't think we'll see Mando here. I don't.
No.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, but I bet you he's gonna pop up in that movie.
Yeah. Of
Oh,
course.
definitely
yeah,
be a
for
movie.
sure.
I think we're gonna get. I think we're gonna
It's
get.
gonna be like the Avengers. They're gonna have their own Avengers thing. It'll be Mando and Grogu and Ahsoka and Sabine and Ezra.
And we all are in. We're all agreeing that we all want to see Captain Rex, right? Tamara
Oh,
Morrison.
if we don't,
Oh,
I'll be
yeah.
pissed.
That would be a.
He's going to be pretty old though.
Is he still alive at this point?
Oh,
Tamara
actually,
Morrison is.
He was a
So,
Jedi.
And they've never said when he died, so
Yeah, he was a Jedi, so I would assume he was still alive.
yeah, but they age double time, so
he'd be pretty frail by
he's
now.
real old now.
I was gonna say I don't think.
I'd love to, but
you could easily just shave Tamara Morrison's head, give him a white beard.
Yeah,
red.
they're gonna make up some kind of shit. Like, oh, you took the chip out, so he stopped aging. Like,
Yeah, like he's in Jedi, Sean, but like he's in Jedi. Like
Yeah,
they were
well,
like that old guy with the white beard. That's him.
yeah, that's the Morrison. We're good with that.
I
All
thought
right.
they undid that retcon. They said they were going to do that, but then they changed it or something.
Did they? Well, but then they had him in like full like kind of rebel gear. So
Well, yeah,
It was an old white guy with a beard.
yeah.
That's what it was.
Totally looks like Tamara Morrison.
hey, you gotta do what you gotta
It's
do.
kind of like how they were like, look, Steve Rogers was at the funeral. Look, it's an old guy with white hair. Like that was him.
Very true.
So, all right. Well, look, man, I had fun with you guys. I hope you guys come on next week. You guys are invited. I know, I'll be here. I know a little be here, maybe. Steve, you always welcome. You get the link. But Ed and Kenneth, you're welcome to come on anytime, man. Definitely.
I'll probably be playing Starfield because that comes out next Thursday.
Oh, shit, everybody's
Oh,
playing
yeah.
Starfield.
I think it's tonight.
I'll be
It's
having-
tonight.
Well, the early release, if you paid that for the premium editions or something like that, or if you have Game Pass and bought it. But
Yeah, mine's ready to play right now.
I started character creation before coming on here.
nice.
I need to go check my Xbox. Holy shit. I have
Well,
a
see,
4-day
I'll be talking
weekend
to you in
ahead
a
of me.
couple
So, oh my God.
Well, look, man, thank you guys for joining us. This is Sean.
This is a little.
This is Steve.
This is Ed.
This is Kenneth.
There's-
And may the force be with you. Thank you guys for joining us, and peace.